Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. I'm very glad in starting a new playlist on Azure DevOps. So in this particular playlist, I will focus on various concepts related to DevOps and what is Azure DevOps and various concepts involved in Azure DevOps, and we'll see a practical session about the different concepts involved in Azure DevOps. Alright, to start with, here in this particular video, I have an agenda where I am just focusing on the introduction to what is DevOps and what is DevOps lifecycle, and we'll see what are the benefits of DevOps, and we'll see a quick introduction about Azure DevOps, and we'll see a quick introduction about the difference between Azure DevOps Services and Azure DevOps Server, and finally we will see how to create our first project using Azure DevOps. Alright, so that's the agenda I have for this particular session. So now let's jump on to the introduction. Okay, so DevOps, if you are into an IT world, or if you are trying to switch your career into DevOps, I think this video will be very helpful for you. And if your team is trying to switch to a DevOps methodology, or even if your organization is focusing in moving towards or switching towards DevOps, I think this video will give you enough information about enough and clear information about what is DevOps and why do you want to switch to DevOps. Alright, so you would have come across this buzzword called DevOps. DevOps defines an agile relationship between operations and development. It is a process that is practiced by the development team and operational engineers together from the beginning to the final stage of the product. So in general, development plus operations is what we call as DevOps. It doesn't mean we have only development and operations team, but right from your development activity up to operations activity, if there is greater collaboration and the speed to market is achieved and the software quality is ensured, so there are a lot of advantages in adapting to DevOps. Alright, so if we start looking at the definition, DevOps is a set of practices that combines software development and IT operation. So it's a culture within the organization. It's not only a set of practice. So if in real time, it's more of a culture that each and every individual in a team needs to adopt in automating first approach and and collaborating with the team. So there are a lot of things you need to learn in order for you to adapt to the DevOps culture. Okay, and next point is it aims to shorten the system development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. Okay, so the main advantages of the common methodologies like Agile and DevOps is obviously to benefit the business, isn't it? So if you want to achieve speed to market with more software quality, obviously you will look for more advanced methodologies like Agile and DevOps, which will help you in achieving that. So similarly, DevOps is again something very similar to that. With DevOps, you can with its continuous delivery operation, you can achieve speed to market with high software quality as well. Okay, so when we speak about Agile, we cannot avoid the word called when we speak about DevOps, we cannot avoid Agile, right? DevOps is a complementary with Agile software development. Several DevOps aspects came from Agile methodology. Okay, so if we start looking at the concepts in detail, you will relate it to the common terms that you have used across your Agile methodology. Okay, so this is very quick introduction about DevOps. Okay, and let's if when we speak about DevOps, without understanding DevOps lifecycle, it would be really difficult for you to understand what is happening at each and every level. Okay, these are 7 stages of DevOps lifecycle, which is really mandatory for every DevOps enthusiast to understand. Okay, so it starts with continuous development and it goes to continuous integration, it goes to testing, monitoring, feedback, deployment and operation. Okay, so it's a process, it's a culture that needs to evolve with each and every stage of your lifecycle in software development lifecycle. Okay, so first one is continuous development. Continuous development involves planning and coding the software. Here, the entire development process gets broken down into smaller development cycles. This process makes it easier for DevOps team to accelerate the overall software development process. This phase is very instrumental in mapping the vision for the entire development lifecycle, which enables developers to fully understand the project expectation. Through this, the team starts visualizing its end goal as well. So the very start, the very first step, the continuous development, is the place where DevOps actually starts, and this is a very important life cycle of DevOps. Okay, and next is continuous integration. So continuous integration, in other words, people generally call it as CI in short term. So continuous integration or CI includes different steps related to the execution of a test process. Along with this, your product or your end customer or clients also provide information to be incorporated for adding new features to the application. Most changes happen in the source code during this phase. All right, continuous integration becomes the hub for resolving these frequent changes on a daily or a weekly or on a monthly basis as well. Okay, so building code is a combination of unit and integration testing, code review, and packaging. Since developers make frequent changes, they can quickly spot problems and resolve them at early stages. So that's why we consider this phase as very utmost importance, because as a developer, if you try to find out the problems in earlier stage of your development life cycle, it would be really easy for you for the business, from a cost perspective, and also from the software quality perspective. Okay, and next one is continuous testing. So this is again very important phase of this life cycle, wherein the developed code is tested for bugs and errors that may have made their way into the code. This is where the quality analysis plays a major role in checking the usability of the developed software. Successful completion of a QA process is crucial in determining whether the software meets the client or the product specifications. Okay, so this is again, this is more like a generic QA process, which is really important. Again, automation also comes into picture. Not only in testing part, the entire life cycle should be automated. So the DevOps approach is generally to automate first. So automate first is the general mantra of DevOps. Okay, and next one is continuous deployment. So the continuous deployment ensures an hassle-free product deployment without affecting the application's performance. It is necessary to ensure that the code is deployed precisely on all available servers during this phase. This process eliminates the need for scheduled releases and accelerates the feedback mechanism, allowing developers to address issues more quickly and with greater accuracy. This is a very, very important part, because the key reasons why you are moving towards DevOps is you can deploy more releases frequently whenever you want. Okay, so the more deployment you do, the more bug-free product you will create. The more deployment you do, you will put more releases to your production, which will have hassle-free product, hassle and bug-free product, and with more quality as well. So continuous deployment is also again a very important phase of DevOps. And next one is continuous monitoring. Obviously, monitoring the performance of a software product is essential to determine the overall efficiency of the product output. This phase processes important information about the app that we have developed. Okay, through continuous monitoring, developers can identify general patterns and gray areas in the app where more effort is required. Okay, so if you relate to few system errors, say server not reachable, low memory, so these kind of errors can be resolved during this monitoring phase. Okay, so that's why it is really important for you to monitor what's happening on the actual development life cycle. Okay, and then comes our continuous feedback. Continuous feedback is essential to ascertain and analyze the final outcome of the application. It sets the tone for improving the current version and releasing a new version based on stakeholder feedback. So feedback is always feedback is always entertained for you to develop a bug-free product. Okay, so only when you incorporate or adapt to the feedback that you got from end users or customers or any business people, that way you can adapt all the changes to your product and you can give more effective and quality product to the production. Okay, and finally we have continuous operation, which is the key phase of the DevOps lifecycle. The last stage in the DevOps lifecycle is the shortest and easiest to grasp. Continuity is at the heart of all DevOps operation that helps automate release process, allow developers to detect issues quickly, and build better versions of the software products. Continuation is key to eliminate diversions and other extra steps that hinder development. Okay, so we have generally in organization there will be a separate operations team who will take care of all the production related operations. Okay, all the production related operations will be handled by operations team. So they are the very key people in deploying all the code that has been developed by developer to the production. So this phase is again very, very important. So what DevOps mainly focuses on is speed to market with utmost effective product quality. So if you start following this 7 phases of DevOps lifecycle in an automated approach, I think as a team, as an organization, you can definitely achieve what you want. Okay, I do not remember exactly, but there was a recent survey with DevOps trends. If I'm not wrong, 99.9% of the people who have adapted to DevOps has voted that switching to DevOps actually helped them in growing their business in a very, very effective way, which has helped them in showing more productivity and identifying the bugs at the earlier phase of the development lifecycle, and obviously the software quality also has improved. Okay, so that's why I think DevOps is very important for you to switch towards a DevOps culture. Okay, and next is the benefits. Okay, I think I already discussed about few key concepts here. I already listed few benefits when I was speaking about the DevOps lifecycle. I highlighted few key benefits on why you want to adapt to DevOps and what are the key benefits of DevOps, right? So I have listed down few very key benefits that is derived out of DevOps. Okay, these are very user-friendly terms. I have put it across here. Significant improvement in product quality. Obviously, the product quality is improved. Improve the performance of the software. Yes. Minimal cost of production. Yes. Reliable infrastructure managed by coding. Yes. Improvement in productivity of the organization. Yes. Faster deployment and faster problem solving abilities. Okay, so these are the key benefits that I have put it on the slide, but the benefits varies from people to people, right? So for example, if you are an IT manager, right? So IT manager has different kind of benefits, isn't it? So the key benefits from an IT manager point of view are like he or she will have lower volume of defects, they will have lower cost of release, they have improved software performance, lower cost of investment, frequent releases of new feature, fixes and updates, and improved mean time to recovery. So there are quite a lot of benefits from an IT manager perspective, right? So each and everyone has different benefits in the real time, isn't it? So if, for example, if you are a chief technology officer in your organization, right, adapting or moving your focus towards DevOps will give you more benefits as well, right? The CIO or CTO of the organization mainly focuses on more on the strategic goals involving people-centric metrics, right? So they mainly focuses on the metrics that involve people centric for successful implementation of DevOps, right? So from their angle, if we see the benefits of DevOps, it helps in individual improvement and cross skilling. It improves in greater flexibility and adaptability. There's a freedom to brainstorm and experiment, increased engagement by team members, cooperative and happier teams, appreciation from senior managerial teams, better process management, and release and faster fixes along with enhanced operational support. Yeah, I can list few more from a chief technology officer point of view when you want to adapt to DevOps strategy, right? Similarly, if you are like a head of an organization, say if you are a CEO of an organization, you can derive different kind of benefits from DevOps, right? So you can see improved product quality, you can see a satisfied customer, you can see a low cost to production, you can see an increased revenue, you can see a reliable and stable IT infrastructure, you can see a lower downtime, and you can see a improvement in productivity of the organization. Okay, so the benefits are really huge from different perspective. Okay, so DevOps engineer has a different benefit, IT manager has a different benefit, and if you are a director or a head of an organization, you can derive different benefits out of people's metrics. If you are a CEO or a chairman or a head of an organization, you see different benefits that is coming out of DevOps. Okay, so that's why I think DevOps has been very popular, and lot of larger organizations have adopted to DevOps. Okay, and I think now I gave you a very quick introduction about what is DevOps in general, but now let's focus on our main topic, Azure DevOps. Okay, so what is Azure DevOps, right? So we discussed about all the operations of, or all the life cycle that has been carried out in DevOps, right? So you need a platform to implement all those. If you have a single platform to implement all those concepts in a single place, okay, it would be very, very handy, isn't it? So there are a lot of organizations that has provided you various tools for DevOps, like you have AWS, you have GCP, you have Azure from Microsoft, right? So Microsoft has given you a platform where you can where teams can plan their work, collaborate on code development, and build and deploy applications on a single particular area or a platform or a server. Okay, so that's what Azure DevOps is all about. You perform all your DevOps activity on a DevOps on a Azure platform, on a Microsoft Azure platform. Okay, so that's what Azure DevOps is all about. So if you look at the definition, Azure DevOps provides developer services for allowing teams to plan work, collaborate on code development, and build and deploy applications. Azure DevOps supports a collaborative culture and set of processes that bring together developers, project managers, and contributors to develop software. It allows organizations to create and improve products at a faster pace than they can with traditional software development approach. Okay, in simple layman term, all the DevOps operations can be carried out in a platform that is set up by Microsoft team, and that is on the Azure portal. Okay, if you look into I will show you a detailed practical session in my upcoming videos, but here we'll see about we'll create a very basic project so that you will have a clear understanding about what are the different concepts involved in Azure DevOps. All right, so here Azure DevOps can be accessed through a browser or through an IDE or through an IDE based on the business needs. So if you want to use a browser based Azure DevOps, that is very much fine, which is very user friendly for you to understand. Okay, before actually jumping onto our actual practical session, I think it is important for us to understand the services offered by Azure. This is a very wide topic, so I'm not going to dig in detail about what these services are, but I think for a beginner or for an Azure DevOps engineer or people who are trying to learn Azure DevOps, I think you should definitely know this basic information so that it will be really easy for you to differentiate and learn in real time. Okay, but this is a very wide topic. I'm not jumping into that and all. I'm just giving you a very basic information about what is the difference between Azure DevOps Services and Azure DevOps Server. Okay, here there are two things here. One is Azure DevOps Services and another one is Azure DevOps Server. So Azure DevOps Services is a cloud-based operation. Okay, so you have an Azure cloud where all the Azure DevOps services it provides a scalable, reliable, and hosted service. Okay, so basically it's a cloud-based platform, whereas Azure DevOps Server is a on-premises based platform. Okay, it's more like an in-house platform. Okay, which is built on a SQL Server backend. So if you see the Azure DevOps Services, it is backed by 99.9% SLA, monitored by the operations team 24/7. Generally, people go to this on-premises Azure DevOps servers because due to some security purposes, companies or products do not want to share their data with other network, and they want to make their data stay within their network. In those kind of situation, people use to this Azure DevOps Server, or else generally most people prefer this Azure DevOps Services, which is a cloud based. So if you opt to this kind of services, you can even access to other cloud based services that are provided by Microsoft Azure. Okay, and finally I've listed down few pricing about Azure DevOps Services and what are prices for Azure DevOps Server. There are different plans, and but I'm not gonna jump into it in detail. But I've just put it across in case if you're really interested, you can view this Azure documentation where the prices are listed for Azure DevOps Services and Azure DevOps Server, and what are pricing for each and every component of Azure DevOps Services, like Azure Pipeline, Azure Boards, or Azure Repo. So there are different services which Azure offers, so you can individually use those services as well. So all the pricing details are provided in this link. Okay, and finally I want to show you how to create your very first project on Azure DevOps. Okay, so let me Google it. Let me go to the Azure DevOps site, Azure DevOps. You can access the Azure DevOps in the azure.microsoft.com website. Now you will see this particular window where if you already have an existing account, you can sign in, or else you can sign in into this Azure DevOps. You can sign in this particular area, or else you can start a free account as well. You can log in using start free, and you can start free with GitHub also, but I have just clicked on start free. So where I will try to register my email ID. Okay, let's start with this one. So I have just provided my email ID. So this is just a very open source version, so I think you can use it for free up to a very minimal amount of team members. For I think it is less than 5. If you have team member size less than 5, I think you can use it for free, and you have very limited resources when you want to try it as an open source for free. But when you want to adapt to an enterprise level, you have different pricing solutions which you can refer in my previous slide. Okay, and let me so now I think it is trying to log me in. Yeah, so I think now I got this pop-up saying my email ID, get started with Azure DevOps, and it will ask you like which region you are. I think you can select any region, whatever you need. For now, I'm just going with the default option called United States, and I'm just clicking on continue. And here you can see you can create DevOps organization. This is the very first step you have to create. So here you can complete this field by providing any unique name. So generally organization, there are two things. There is something called organization, there is something called project. So project in the sense, if you want to share your information with with limited people within your project, you can create a new project and share it across. But organization is more of at a portfolio level. You can imagine any portfolios in your portfolio or any department in your organization. Okay, generally those kind of information will go into this particular organization field. Say I have a CRM portfolio in my company and I want to create a new DevOps organization for CRM. So I'm just provided a name called CRM, and it is hosting our projects in South India. You can provide any other details, whatever is you need. I think for now I'm going with the default option called South India, and then I'm gonna provide this particular captcha. Oh, this one really looks very difficult. Is it D3? I'm not sure if it is the right one. This looks really very difficult. I think it's maybe given organization name is already taken, choose a different one. I think this is already taken by someone. Then probably I will try to give some meaningful some unique name. CRM, I'm just putting my name across it. It's not a valid name again. Is it W? I never thought captcha would be this difficult. I think now it's the Azure DevOps is setting the organization. Let's see. Let's wait for a minute. Yeah, now you can see the Azure DevOps organization is launched. So I can see that a new organization is created for me. Like I have defined an organization called CRM 𝕸𝕤, right? So that organization is developed here. That organization is created here. Similarly, if you want to create other organization also, you can create. So generally this organization is more like a different departments or different portfolios within your organization. That's what you will put here, but it can vary across to your business needs. Okay, so if you can I have put a sample name called CRM here. Similarly, you can imagine another organization, say online. So if you are e-commerce, so you can put across different organization details here, like whatever you need. Once the organization is created, what you need to do is you need to provide a project name. Okay, so let's say project Azure Demo, Azure DevOps Demo. Okay, so you can provide any unique project name and visibility. There is something called public and private visibility. By default, private will be selected because public, generally people do not entertain public because anyone on the internet can view this. Generally it will be private, but you can also enable public projects also, but by default it will be enabled for private only. Okay, once this option is selected, all you need to do is just click on create project. So now our project is being created. Yes. Okay, so this is the home screen of your project. Okay, now I can view the project here my project Azure DevOps demo is now created, and you can see it is now a private project. So I can share it with a limited people with whom I want to share this project. Okay, and now coming to the actual concepts that is present in real time in Azure DevOps is, if you can see all these steps, all these tabs on the left hand side, these are the very key concepts that is involved in Azure DevOps. I think it is really necessary for you to understand all these basics. So I am not going to touch upon all these concepts in detail in this video. I will make some upcoming videos about all these things in detail. Okay, but I will give you a very overview of what all these tabs is all about. First, we have something called overview tab. In overview tab, we have summary, dashboards, and wiki. In summary, currently we have not created anything, right? So you don't have any information, but if all the project related summary can be displayed here, and if you want to build some customized dashboards also, you can create using this dashboard. Wiki is more of a documentation portal where you can store all your project related documentation in this wiki. And we have something called boards. In boards we have a lot of terms like work items, boards, backlogs. Again, I will cover this in detail in our upcoming videos using a practical session. Again, we have something called repos where we can connect our version controlling to the repos. Like you can use Git, you can use TFS, or you can use SVN, whatever suits your business need. You can generally put it here. And next comes a very important topic called pipelines, which is really very important in Azure DevOps. I will cover a separate video for this. And test plans, again, it will cover all your exploratory testing activities from start to end. Here in this test plan, we can track it here. And we have something called artifacts, where you can package all the where you can pass all the packages. Like you can pass DevOps packages, so you can pass Python packages. Say you have packages related to npm, Node.js, or NuGet, all these kind of packages which you will be using in real time, right? So that can be passed it in the artifacts. Okay, so since this is an open source project, you can see only very basic information about it. And finally, you have project settings as well. But in case if you go to an enterprise solution, right, if you you can still customize this particular part. You can still add more details. Like I remember I worked in a project where we had a few other tabs related to compliance. There was another tab called compliance, which had all component governance related details, where you can run the assessment and where you have all the compliance related product details and all. So I had so you can customize if you adapt to an enterprise level versions. And there was another thing I learned. There was a tab called self-service administration. All the administration level activities can also be viewed here. And you can also create your own workboards, and you can also merge it with one branch. And there is a separate topic called one branch, and you can also incorporate that into your particular project. So those and all I think will be available only in the enterprise edition when you work with larger organization. But in general, when you try it as an open source project, I think these are the key DevOps concepts that will be displayed to you. I think if you learn these things, it would be more than enough for you to understand all the Azure DevOps concepts. Okay, I think that's all what I want to cover as part of this introductory Azure DevOps video, guys. I would try to come up with detailed video about all these concepts on the left hand pan in my upcoming videos in this playlist. So please stay tuned. If you have any queries, please put it into the comment section. And if you like my video and want to hear more interesting videos about Azure DevOps, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get notifications whenever I add new videos. Thank you.